I'm John D. Clark, attorney at law, and this is J. Clark Law, the channel. On this channel, I discuss interesting legal issues, the kind of legal issues that you want to know about. I also answer your legal questions. This week, I got a very interesting question that I think would be of interest to a lot of people, and that was, is prayer in school legal? Is that legal? That was the question. To answer the question, in South Carolina and the United States, it's not. When you talk about whether prayer is legal, you have to determine what country you're talking about and the type of school. First of all, private schools can have prayer. The government cannot interfere with what a private school does. It's the public schools that can't have prayer. In the United States, since 1962, the Supreme Court has ruled that prayer cannot be organized in school. It can't be organized by the school. The Supreme Court said that the First Amendment prohibits that. And the First Amendment has language that says Congress can make no law establishing religion. They call that the Establishment Clause. And it also says, or prohibiting free expression thereof. That's called the Free Exercise Clause. In the United States, prayer in school was common before 1962. In most schools, I wasn't going to school before 1962, but from what I understand, prayer was the first thing that happened in school. But someone brought a lawsuit and the Supreme Court said that was unconstitutional. As I said, it does not apply to private schools. Private schools are not an arm of the government, and the government cannot tell a private school that they cannot organize prayer. Many of them do. It seems that since the Supreme Court issued its ruling, there have been many efforts in Congress to try to change the Constitution, because that's what has to happen before prayer can be legal in public schools. There's been over 150 bills submitted in Congress since 1962 to try to change the Constitution. All of them have failed. Just talking about some of the other countries, as I said, there are three categories of countries that deal with prayer. Some countries require prayer in schools, some countries allow it, and some countries prohibit it. In Canada and France, prayer is not allowed. In Turkey, they have a strange rule. Prayer is not allowed, but religious courses are mandatory. So you can't force the kids to pray, but they have to take religious courses. In the United Kingdom and Wales, prayer is required unless the parents opt out. So the parent can send a note and say, I don't want my child to have prayer. And in the UK, the school can't force the child to have prayer. Now, the funny thing about this rule in the UK, the law requires prayer unless the parents say otherwise. Even though the law requires it, it's not enforced. From what I understand, it's required, but they really don't force prayer on kids in the UK. Now, in the United States, as I said, the school cannot organize prayer. It cannot be a part of the curriculum, but what can happen is students can voluntarily pray. They can form groups that meet after school and pray, but the school cannot organize the prayer. So there you have it. That's your answer. No, prayer is not legal in South Carolina or the United States based on the First Amendment. The school cannot organize prayer, but there's a different rule in different countries around the world. I'm John D. Clark, attorney at law. This is J. Clark Law, the channel. If you like this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Please also tell your friends about it. If you have a question for me, you can submit to me at jclark@theclarklawfirm.com, or you can submit it to me on Facebook Messenger, where I'm John D. Clark, and I'll answer your question online. Again, I'm John D. Clark, attorney at law, and this is J. Clark Law, the channel.